So Kevin Warsh is now ahead of the Fed, and gold and silver are collapsing. Actually, it's not only gold and silver, it's pretty much the entire market, right? In any case, as you know, gold and silver are two main positions in my portfolio, especially in my family's portfolio. And well, as you can imagine, the latest months have not been exactly enjoyable, right? But today we'll talk about why I'm not selling my gold and silver positions, even with the super ultra hawkish Kevin Warsh ahead of the Fed. Now first, why do I hold gold and silver? And by the way, gold and silver actually make up about 40% of my family's portfolio, okay? 40%. I didn't go long now. I've been holding these positions since 2021, 2022. But yes, these are very relevant positions for me. I have a lot of skin in the game here. In any case, I actually hold gold and silver as if they were cash. They are the resources I plan to use over the medium to long term. So instead of investing in fixed income, I simply prefer to keep these resources, my long-term reserves, denominated in gold and silver. And many would say that's too aggressive. But you know, I just much rather prefer to hold gold and silver than any other currency. I mean, over the long run, it's certainly better than the dollar, and much better than the Brazilian real. And by the way, in case you're not aware, I'm from Brazil. But yeah, many would say it's too risky to be that concentrated in precious metals. Many would say I should be more conservative. But then, what should I invest in? In what should I leave my resources denominated? What assets should I use to store my family's reserves? In a not too speculative way, right? But I mean, if it's too risky to invest that much in gold and silver, well then, how about leaving 40% of your portfolio denominated in Brazilian reais, right? I mean, would you do that? I think very few people would call that conservative, especially given Brazil's current political and fiscal situation. Actually, I think most people would call that extremely speculative. But you see, it's not just the Brazilian currency. The dollar is also a sick currency, so to speak. And I also don't feel comfortable holding treasuries, for example. So that's the main reason why my position is that big. Because my goal with this investment, with this position, is just to preserve the value of the money. And well, for me, fiat currencies are simply doomed to fail. So it's simply much safer, in my view, to hold precious metals instead. But okay, now, why are gold and silver collapsing? That's the second part of our talk today. So gold and silver are collapsing because Kevin Warsh is now presiding over the Fed. And from what it seems, Kevin Warsh is much more hawkish than Powell. For example, while not that long ago, the market was expecting interest rates to continue dropping this year, the Fed, in its latest meeting, kept interest rates untouched, which the market interpreted as a serious sign that, man, this guy's not playing around, right? He will end the party. So that was the market's interpretation. Kevin Warsh is in fact being viewed as this hawkish guy. And many are speculating that interest rates could actually go up, maybe by a lot. Now, why does that matter for gold and silver? Because if interest rates go up, your opportunity cost to hold precious metals increases. In other words, the lower the interest rates, the better that is for gold. Because you know, one thing is to invest in gold, which is an asset that doesn't pay you anything, while the alternative is to buy 0% bonds. Well, if the alternative is to make 0%, well then, holding gold is pretty much okay, right? However, the picture changes when interest rates go up. If interest rates are, for example, at 15%, well then, it will take you a little longer to decide to put your money in gold, because investing in gold in that situation pretty much means giving up on a 15% annual return. So that's why the lower the interest rates, the better for precious metals. Now, considering that, if Kevin Warsh is being viewed as this hawkish figure, and if the chances of interest rates to go up have increased because of him, well then, It's kind of natural to see this sell-off in gold and silver because the expectation is that the dollar will get stronger because of higher interest rates, which should bring gold down. So that's why gold is falling, because the market is expecting that interest rates could rise. Now, finally, we've come to the final part of today's video, which is about why I'm personally not selling my precious metals position. You see, as you know, gold goes up as the dollar goes down, as the expectations regarding the dollar deteriorate, and that happens because of a fiscal issue. As you can see here, the US has been consistently operating at a deficit, and well, to cover for this deficit, it needs to take money from somewhere else. So that's why US debt to GDP is now at 123%. Now, why is that important? Because this debt needs to be repaid. Sorry to inform you that. Now, there are some ways to do that, to pay this debt. First, by cutting public spending, which honestly, I doubt will happen. Secondly, you could also raise taxes. But as you know, that's not politically good for you if you were a politician. That's not politically viable. And lastly, you can repay your debt by devaluing the currency. So that means the government will either print money to pay for the debt or keep interest rates low by force in order to refinance it, which frankly is kind of like printing money. Now, honestly, I seriously doubt the US will be able to revert the situation, to fix things. I believe US spending and US debt will only keep going up, that will not see spending cuts, and that in the end, this debt will be paid through inflation, or in other words, through the dollar's devaluation. So that's what I still think will happen. Now, it's true that Kevin Warsh could indeed raise interest rates, right? That could indeed happen. However, honestly, in a certain way, that would only make things worse. I mean, if interest rates go up, in this environment, in this situation, without spending cuts and with this kind of leverage, the US will only accelerate the death spiral it is already currently in, because their cost to refinance will explode. So public debt will increase much more rapidly. Now, it's true that if that happens, if interest rates go up, the dollar could indeed get stronger. But I think that will only be temporary, because the underlying problem wouldn't have been fixed. So debt would continue to grow, but at a faster pace. And well, to devalue the currency would still be the end of the line. So that's why I'm still keeping my gold and silver positions over the long run. Because even if Kevin Warsh indeed raised interest rates, the underlying problem is still there. The fiscal insanity is still there. And well, with higher interest rates, it will only get worse. So yeah, I don't know whether gold and silver will go up or down over the coming months. But over the long run, I certainly would much rather hold gold and silver than dollars or Brazilian reais. Besides, even if the dollar gets stronger, that could still benefit my investment, since my base currency is the Brazilian real. After all, if interest rates go up in the US, and if the dollar gets stronger, that would certainly take a lot of capital out of Brazil, weakening the Brazilian currency. So yeah, I will keep holding my gold and silver. That's it for today, and see you next time.